asked my aunt if she wanted to bury another child. We were at my grandmother's 70th birthday party when I noticed my cousin Jade had been in the bathroom for a long time. I knocked and nobody answered. I tried the handle and the door was unlocked. Jade was on the floor with her back against the bathtub and her head slumped forward. I dropped to my knees and shook her, but she didn't respond. I tilted her head back and her breathing was so shallow I could barely hear it. I pulled the Narcan out of my purse and sprayed it into her nose. I learned how to use it at a training session my job offered last year, and I've carried it ever since. I called 911 and told them my cousin wasn't breathing right and I thought she had taken something. I opened the bathroom door so the paramedics could find us. My Aunt Nancy walked by and looked in. She stopped in the doorway and her expression shifted from confusion to rage. What is that? What did you just give her? It's Narcan. It reverses overdoses. Overdoses? My daughter doesn't do that. She has a migraine. She was lying down in here where it's quiet. Nancy, her lips were blue. She wasn't sleeping. You're wrong. You don't know what you're talking about. I know what I saw. Nancy grabbed my arm hard. Why do you even have that stuff in your purse? Are you using something? Is that how you knew what to do? My job offered a training. I've carried it ever since. Normal people don't carry that around. Only addicts carry that around. That's not true. So you're telling me you just happen to have the exact drug that junkies use, and you just happen to find my daughter, and you just happen to know exactly what to do? You probably gave her something and then played the hero. That's insane. Is it? Other family members were gathering in the hallway now. Nancy turned to them. She just sprayed something into Jade's nose without my permission. She carries around junkie supplies in her purse, and now she's trying to make my daughter look like an addict. I heard sirens in the distance. Nancy's face changed. Tell me you didn't call 911. I had to. She wasn't breathing. To my mother's birthday party? You called an ambulance to my mother's 70th birthday? Jade needed help. She was fine, and now the whole neighborhood is going to see paramedics coming into this house. She turned to my grandmother. I'm so sorry, Mom. She's ruining your party. My grandmother looked confused and scared. Nancy pointed at me again. I want her out of this house after this. She's not welcome in this family anymore. The paramedics came in and started checking Jade's vitals. One looked at me. You gave her Narcan? Yes, about 5 minutes ago. Good call. Her breathing is still depressed. We need to take her in. Nancy stepped in front of the stretcher. She doesn't need to go anywhere. This is a family matter and we'll handle it ourselves. Ma'am, this is a medical emergency. Narcan is only temporary. Without treatment, she could stop breathing again. They loaded Jade onto a stretcher. Nancy followed them out, screaming that I had set this whole thing up. I drove to the hospital and waited for 2 hours. Nancy finally came out and walked straight toward me. The doctor said she's stable. Good. She would have been fine without your little performance. My mother is devastated. Her 70th birthday is ruined because of you. Jade almost died, Nancy. She would have woken up on her own. You didn't need to spray that stuff in her nose and call 911 like she was some homeless person dying in the street. A doctor came out and asked to speak with Nancy. They talked in the corner for a minute. When Nancy came back, her jaw was tight. They said she had enough in her system to kill her. They said without that spray, she would have been dead before the ambulance arrived. I thought maybe she finally understood, but then she kept going. You should have called me first. I could have gotten her help without the whole world watching. You wanted me to let her die so you wouldn't be embarrassed? I wanted you to mind your own business, but you just had to make yourself the hero. I was done. Okay, Nancy. Sorry for helping. I didn't realize you were so eager to bury another child. Nancy went still. Marcus died at 17 because you were too embarrassed to call 911. You tried to handle it privately, and by the time you finally asked for help, he was already gone. So don't tell me how to save your kids. Nancy turned and walked out of the hospital without a word. Jade texted me a week later from rehab saying thank you for saving her life.